Welcome to a very important message brought to you by Shit. This is The Hurdle. Welcome back. I'm Cody Carpentier with my main man, Matty Kiwoom.
What's up, baby?
Trying a brand new little intro in right there. But we're live. We're back Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. 5 minutes early for those that thought we were going to be here at 8:15. What up? What with it? Football season is officially here. So The Hurdle is now back where it began, which was in season, because the purpose of The Hurdle is to hurdle you through the week from one side to the other. And that's what we're about to do. We're about to get you in and out and prepared for week 2 of the fantasy football season. Matty Newcam, how we doing?
Oh, bro, you are seeing me in 4K right now. We got the camera dialed in for some new broadcast goodness. I am feeling great about it. I'm getting a little used to it, though. My setup's going to change a little bit so I can get used to it. But I can't lie. It's been a pretty exciting few days. Like I said, new camera, football's back. It's pretty great.
Favorite comment of the day. Gooner Boy jumped in the chat earlier on the cook-up with Fizz. And Gooner Boy goes, 0-7 in all my leagues. It's Jova.
Gooner Boy, don't give up. Week 1 is such a cold-hearted biatch. We talked about it on the walkthrough last week. It's the hardest week to predict. It seems like every year you either strike out completely or you walk across some fugazi fool's gold type production. I hate week 1. I'm officially here to say I love it, but I hate it. I hate week 1.
And I tell you what we're not going to do tonight. We're not going to overreact at all, but we are going to do some buy or sells. We got 8 buy or sells going into the weekend. Or actually say coming out of the weekend, looking forward to the season. Because the last thing I want to do, and I told Fizz this morning, the last thing I want to do is overreact to week 1 when we had no clue really what was going to happen. We had a lot of thoughts. We had a lot of views from camps, from notes, from injuries, etc., etc. But we don't really know anything about until week 1. So, Matty Kiwoom, buy or sell, one of my favorite segments of all podcasting history, or whatever the hell you want to call that. Let's start it out right here. I'll go first.
Okay.
Buy or sell. Cooper Kupp is probably going to finish wide receiver 1 in the season. Put it in ink.
I'm going to sell it just on the basis of it being a field versus 1 player. But holy shit, Cody. Cooper Kupp came back in a way that is almost unbelievable. Madden's out now, right? So you're seeing people post their Madden clips, all this. 21 targets for 14 receptions, over 100 yards and a touch is banana land. To think that he had a 66.666667% catch rate and had 14 receptions. It's insane. Absolutely insane. And now with Puka Nacua going on the IR, it's free reign for him to average. Is it crazy to say he averages 15 targets over the next 4 games?
No. Like,
he is going to be peppered with targets. And he looked good too.
When Cooper Kupp was Cooper Kupp and he was annihilating teams in the 2021 season, these were his target lines. 10, 11, 12, 13, 10, 12, 13, 13, 13, 10, 10, 15, 13, 13, 9, 7, 7. 2022, before he got hurt, 15, 14, 19, 10, 8, 6, 12, 9, 5, got hurt in that 5 game. And then he came back last year, had a couple double-digit games, 12, 10, 10, 12. This year he begins the banana land with a career-high 21 targets. Career high, again, age 31. Since he turned 30 years old, he has yet to have more than 12 targets in a game. Only twice. Well, I'm finding this out in real time. I'm realizing this in real time. Since he turned 30, he's literally eclipsed 10 twice. He got 12 both times. We're back, baby. We're back. Remember a year ago right now, it was, oh my God, Cooper Kupp is in Minneapolis getting his hamstrings done by a hamstring specialist. Puka Nacua season, baby. Right?
Yes, sir. All
for sure. Cooper Kupp, maybe the best value in all of fantasy football this year.
Without
Maybe
question. He's okay. We're not overreacting, right? We're not overreacting, right? Okay, Cody, we're not going to do it. We said at the beginning of the show we're not going to overreact. But he is the front runner for League Winner of the Year award because you were able to draft him not only after your running back one, but probably your wide receiver one, and then either your tight end one or your wide receiver two. I have him in a flex in one league. Unbelievable value. 42% target share in week one. In a game that didn't even hit the over. What? We back, baby. Cooper Kupp is back.
you're selling though, because you're taking the field.
Wide receiver one, yes. It's a silly bet to make. The field versus one.
All
But
right.
the wide receiver one, I'm buying wholeheartedly. He is a top 12 receiver in this league. And he seems to be healthy. So it's wheeled up for Mr. Cooper Kupp.
All right. You want to go next?
Yeah. My first buy or sell, Mr. Thumbnail, Josh Allen is the 2025 MVP en route to another QB1 finish in fantasy football. Cody, buy or sell?
I think I got to buy it because first off, I went up and saw Buffalo in training camp. I've said this 100 times, but I didn't think the connection was going to be quite ready with Keon Coleman in week one. I thought he showed better connection with Kincaid, with Shakir, with Curtis Samuel, Quentin Morris, Matt Collins, who I didn't think he was going to throw the ball to. Turns out he throws a touchdown to him. Kincaid gets nothing in this game. And I kind of credit that to Arizona playing against Trey McBride every single week. Kind of the inverse. Buffalo plays against Dalton Kincaid every week in practice, and they're kind of used to these types of players. So McBride didn't exactly have a big game either. So I'm kind of folding that one out. But Josh Allen rushing 9 times for 39 yards and 2 Tugatrons. The efficiency at which he threw at 78%. I mean, who we argue, who we fight, like what are we doing here? Like this is going to be Josh Allen. How long can Anthony Richardson stay healthy? Does Patty Mack explode and bounce back? Because he has to explode. He has to go 50 plus tugs. And Stroud probably has to go 50 tugs. That's the competition here. I think I buy Josh Allen doing it again as QB1 overall. MVP. I'm not sure I can give him the MVP, though, over Stroud or Mahomes. But I'll take the QB1 repeat as a buy, but I'll sell the MVP.
The argument for MVP is he is the quarterback that is being asked to Superman, to LeBron James, his offense, where Lamar, you can make the argument, Zay Flowers and obviously Andrews, and if there's an emergency, they brought in Derrick Henry, and just repeating as MVP is tough to do. Mahomes, the revamp of the offense, but of course, back-to-backs on the table. So there's that narrative. And then the weapons in Houston. I could see Josh Allen being MVP if he can lead this team to victory, lead this team to the playoffs in what projects to be a tough AFC East. Jets are the worst team in the division. Just for the record, just need to say that for the record, Jets are right here as we sit the worst team in the AFC East at 0-1. The other 3 teams are 1-0. So the Jets, Aaron Rodgers, they suck. 0-1, worst team in the AFC East. Facts, not feelings, just saying. But Josh Allen, man. Holy shit. 232 yards, but he had 4 TDs, 137.7 passer rating. He's going out for blood. Josh Allen is out for blood.
I don't know what to do with you. I don't know what to do with you.
He's out for blood.
I'm just happy that next Thursday night we get Patriots Jets in the Meadowlands. All right, buy or sell. Tyler Lockett and Brandon Cooks once again proved to be the sickest values in all of fantasy football for another season. Each finish as wide receiver 2s top 24.
This is the easiest sell on the list.
Why is
This is
that?
the easiest. This is absolutely the easiest sell on the list. Just Brandon Cooks is Brandon Cooks and Tyler Lockett is Tyler Lockett. We know who they are. We know they are who we thought they were.
They're
And
the definition of Mr. Dr. Consistency, though.
Oh no, you're right, of course. But top 24, you're talking about levels that they haven't even achieved together over the last handful of years.
What are you talking about?
Brandon Cooks was not a top 24 receiver last year.
Lockett was wide receiver 16 and 17 in 2022 and 2021.
Right. So even that's going back 3 years, going back 2 years.
2 years ago. 2 years ago.
Right. But there's just no way. Go look at the rest of the season rankings. There's just no way, no possible way, Cody, no possible way that they get in the top 24. Now, if you want to break it down a little bit more and say that they are, flex daddies of the year, they might be a consideration because once again, they're doing it 7 targets from Brandon Cooks, 4 catches, 40 yards, and a nice tutty. Throwing that bow. And Tyler Lockett, the worry was he has a patella tendon strap on. He's not healthy. He's not good. JSN, DK Metcalf. Tyler Lockett out-targeted both of them combined, outscored both of them combined, was the go-to receiver. And now you look at the schedule, you see the New England Patriots, it's going to be a boring game. Okay, the Patriots, I said it in the video I recorded today. You'll see that come out later this week. Some of the lessons I learned from week 1 and how I'm using them going forward. Patriots is going to be fantasy. They're going to be mud for fantasy. They're not going to score many fantasy points unless Ramondre gets 40 carries. They're not going to let other people score a whole lot of fantasy points. And with Christian Gonzalez and the defensive scheme, they're probably going to shut down DK. It's going to open the door for Tyler Lockett to succeed next week in Foxborough. So I can't go as far as say they're top 24, but if you want to say that they could become consideration for, your flex 2 player of the year, like a top 40 receiver, I'll buy that. But top 24, I can't buy that. It's just too rich for my blood. But once again, both in tough game script, both guys come out with a good amount of fantasy points.
There's no spice, though. And there's no spice in saying top 36 because we saw Cooks 43 last year in points per game basis, 37 the year before that. He was 19 the year before that. And then Lockett last year was 37, 16 the year before that. So we're talking about these guys that are 31 and 32 years old, reaching back a couple years and bringing back some, Brandon Cooks is in a peculiar spot as long as they don't go out and trade for Devontae Adams. Cooks is sitting here looking at a potential, you catch 8 touchdowns in 700 yards. I mean, 800 yards. I think you're somewhere in the conversation
from last year. No, you're Romeo Dubes from last year. You're a top 40 receiver.
Bingo.
Yeah.
But 2 years ago, Lockett had 9 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. Wide receiver 16. 9 touchdowns, 1,000 yards. Wide receiver 16. I don't think that's out of the question for Cooks. Maybe more for Lockett, but I feel like that's not out of the question for Cooks. Cooks did 1,006 touchdowns, wide receiver 19, 2 years ago.
I'm going to go, if any of the leagues that we're in together, I'm going to go see if I have any Cooks or Lockett to sell you.
I'm not going to buy a damn thing from you. What do you want to do next? Buy or sell?
So we're going to do a little buy or sell here with the first game of the year, the inaugural game of the year, Baltimore Ravens. And here we go. Here's our claim. Derrick Henry is a touchdown-dependent running back 2 prototype running back rest of season. Buy or sell?
This one hurts. Doesn't it?
It hurt, doesn't it?
It hurts. It stings a little bit because he's just not efficient. He's just not efficient out of the gun. Like, they need to run more pistol. They're not. I mean, they shouldn't have to be under center with Lamar. It just doesn't make a ton of sense. But with Derrick Henry, it's what we always know. Like, he's most efficient when he's 6 yards, 7 yards back, running downhill from the skip. And especially now with his age, like, he's not getting any more athletic or any more fungible or agile. I am worried about it. So last year he finished as running back 16 with 1,000 yards on the ground and 12 touchdowns. Wide receiver 16 on a points per game basis. This is what he is. He's a running back too. If he gets the touchdowns, and he'll be touchdown dependent, and that's if, and he'll get those touchdowns if Justice Hill doesn't blitz and go for one, if Lamar Jackson doesn't keep it, if Zay Flowers doesn't get sick, if Isaiah Likely doesn't create yak on every single goddamn pass he catches, if Keaton Mitchell doesn't come back and take the ball to the house from 40 out and not allow Derrick Henry to get the ball from the 5 in. I am worried. He's a touchdown dependent running back too. And he was overdrafted.
He doesn't catch the ball. Wasn't even really on the field in pass catching situations. 13 carries, not a single run of 15 or more miles per hour. Justice Hill had one on one attempt. There isn't a whole lot of juice left. There is a lot of power. And unfortunately for us fantasy gamers, when Derrick Henry brings his most value will be when it's freezing cold in January, where our seasons are far over. That is where Derrick Henry will provide the most value for the Baltimore Ravens, when it's frigid and nobody wants to make a tackle, and they sure as shit don't want to have to throw themselves in front of a freight train like Derrick Henry. But for our fantasy leagues through the regular season, you can expect load management. You can expect him to be off the field in passing downs, and you can expect him to really only have big days if he finds the end zone more than once.
There it is.
But another thing that you can find whenever you need to. You can always find the end zone. Wink, 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 wink. Keep it tight. Keep it neat at manscaped.com. Keep your balls clean. Wash your balls. Shave your chest. Keep it clean. Ladies and gentlemen, you can head over to Manscaped. Use that promo code SHFF20. Ooh, a little sensor bar behind the promo code SHFF20. Get you 20% off at checkout and free shipping. So if you got a little bit too much hair down there and you want to shave it all over, go to Manscaped. Use that promo code SHFF20. 20. Get 20% off at Manscaped. We're doing it. My wife appreciates it. You might think I'm hairy from all this, but from here down, shaved. Manscaped.com. Promo code SHFF20. Get you 20% off.
Couldn't have said it better myself. Please click that like button. Please click subscribe. Stay tuned in. Stay tapped in every single Tuesday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Also, the cook-up was this morning, 10 a.m., the first ever episode with myself and Fizzle Dollars. That episode, 2 hours, Matty, 2 hours of just spanking week one in the ass and moving on to week two. Couldn't have enjoyed it better myself as we walked through
It was a lot of fun.
Each game. You got to tap in and watch the cook-up. 10 a.m. Tuesdays, and then come back at night after work's over, after dinner's in the belly, and get the hurdle and get you ready for the next week. Buy or sell, Matty Kiwoom. Garrett Wilson will be a top 4 overall pick in 2025 NFL drafts.
I'm buying.
NFL drafts, fantasy drafts. Sorry.
Yes, I know what you mean. I know what you meant. I'm buying it. I am buying it. We saw the same kind of mediocre output from Justin Jefferson. He just scored the touchdown. Last night, Garrett Wilson, 6 catches for 60 yards. Of course, that's not going to make us overly excited from a fantasy point perspective, but you talk about week one, Aaron Rodgers back on the field for the first time in a calendar year, 11 targets. This guy's going to feast. He's going to have massive, massive games with Aaron Rodgers. The caveat I will put in, and I'm not going to – this is why I saved the caveat. I didn't use this at the top to sell it. I think it's more fun to buy because I do believe in the player. The rollover, if Aaron Rodgers is not the QB next year and it's a – who knows?
Sam Darnold?
That's can you imagine? Oh, my God. Can you imagine? That would keep him out of the top 4. But talent alone, if the situation can withstand – from 2024 to 2025, Garrett Wilson is going to be a top 4 pick. He is going to bump Jamar Chase, who is looking like a pain in the ass. And Justin Jefferson's going to have a great year, but he's not going to have a 2K year. Where Garrett Wilson leading the league in receiving yards is very much in play. He's got that type of skill set, got that type of separation. And, it wasn't in full display last night on Monday Night Football because, well, it's the 49ers. You can still comb through some of the analytics, some of his advanced metrics and still see, that 36.7% target share. Just a guy that's going to get a lot of separation and he's going to win all over the place. So, yeah, I'm in on Garrett Wilson.
So you just said Chase, no, Jefferson, no. So I'm going to tell you my top 4 next year today. I want to know who your top 4 are today, next year. So for me, today, if we're starting 2025, if I have to draft my 2025 redraft league, which kind of is a maniacal idea, maybe we should do that. We should maybe do one of these, a 2025 draft today, or not today, but in next week or something. That would be that might have just came out of my mouth, and that was I kind of love that idea. We can definitely get some maniacal shitters to jump in this and do a draft. We just stare at it until next year. I kind of love this idea. It'll be a freebie, of course, but I mean, this will be. Go over to patreon.com/southharmon, jump in the Discord. We're doing this damn thing. We might not do it tonight. We might do it, tomorrow. It might be a slow draft, actually. It might be a slow draft.
We'll see. We'll see how it goes.
We're doing this, though. I don't know why I just thought of that, but we're doing it. All right. Here's my top 4 picks.
It's impossible to not overreact. That's why it's fun. If you're doing it's impossible not to overreact. Like how can you not? It's fun. It's going to be wild.
We might have just fallen into something here. 2025 fantasy football redraft picks 1 through 4.
Okay.
Lamb.
Yep.
Wilson.
Yep.
Jefferson.
Okay.
Robinson.
I would switch out Jefferson and Hall.
Dude, could you imagine 2 Jets back to back?
See, that's the thing. The Jet situation had. Well, I mean, they were still 5-8, 5-9, 5-7, 4-7, 2-7. I mean, they were both first round picks this year. It's going to come down to the quarterback. It's going to come down to who's manning the ship for the Jets in 25. But if it's a halfway decent, top of the league, top half of the league type of talent, why not?
Golly. All right, we're gonna do some waiver wire questions at the end of the show. If you want to get them in, get them in. If you want to get them in quicker, do that little super chat button, and we'll get to those first as soon as we get done with our buy or sell. Matty Kiwoom, you got one more buy or sell, looks like, in this bucket.
I got 2 more.
2 more.
Matter of fact, because we got 8 tonight, so I got 2 more. We're gonna start with this. Alexander Mattison will be a thing all year long. Buy or sell?
A thing?
A thing. You know what I mean?
What the fuck does that mean? A thing.
He's going to be fantasy viable. He's going to be a thing this year.
Thing
he was
one,
not
thing
a thing
two?
a week ago.
Thing 1, thing 2?
That's kind of the backfield for the Raiders right now. Thing 1, thing 2.
This Dylan Lobb thing killed me. No, he's not going to be a thing all year long. Mattison is the consummate number 2 at the running back position, and I like him. But this team's not going to be good. They're going to try and win games for the first, 6-7 weeks. And then they're going to realize, well, you know what? We traded Devontae Adams to the Cowboys or the Commanders or the Jets. And now it's time to see what Lobb is. And I think Mattison's going to fizz out at that point. So I'm going to go sell.
I do love hearing that, because selling Mattison, because he was the pass catching back. I mean, 6 targets, 4 catches, 43 yards. I mean, most of that came on like a 30-something yard scamper for a touchdown where he hurdled somebody. But I mean, he was 3rd on the team in targets. So say he's not the pass catching down or the pass catching back right now for the Raiders would be a lie. So if he's not going to be a thing, that means Dylan Lobb will be a thing. And a lot of my teams would be very happy to see that be the case.
All right, buy or sell. This may be my favorite one. The Packers still finished with a better record than the Chicago Bears with Malik Willis at quarterback rest of season. I know this isn't a thing. It's kind of a hypothetical here because Jordan Love's probably going to be back in 4 weeks. But today, you can say this roster in Green Bay would win more games than the Madden Bears in the 2024 season.
The Madden Bears, shout out Mike Lombardi. I'm gonna sell this.
I was hoping you would get that. I'm glad you
I'm
did.
gonna sell this. Oh, of course, GM Shuffle. Dude, when you and Alex put me onto the GM Shuffle around draft time,
It's the
when we were
shit.
at the combine, every week. So it's a listen no matter what. He's hilarious, and he brings an insight to the game that's equally frustrating but insightful. I love it. It's a great show. What also happened to Femi? Do you know?
He left. He went to a different pot. He went to do he got hired by a different company.
Oh, okay. Because all of a sudden it was just he wasn't there. I didn't catch it. But in terms of the Packers, they need Love. If they have Love on their team, and I'm not just talking in the locker room, I'm talking the quarterback. They're going to need him to beat the Bears or have a better record than the Bears. Caleb Williams was atrocious in his first game as a quarterback. 55.7 passer rating, only 93 yards passing. There wasn't a single pass that had a positive EPA on it. It was bad. And yet the team won. Now, this is a lot in thanks to your boy, Will Levis, absolutely pissing down his leg in that game. But at the end of the day, if Caleb Williams improves, which we all expect he will, 48.3% completion percentage is probably the worst he'll ever have as a pro. So that's going to help. That's going to get improved. Now, the pass catchers, the weapons, they're already banged up. That is a bit nerve-wracking. That does make me a bit nervous, but that defense is good. That defense is good. They do make plays. They can attack. They have not one but two very physical corners on the outside. They have a pass rush with Sweat. And don't forget, the Bears are probably more inclined to make a trade. They've shown that they will make in-season trades in the past.
What? What are they going to trade for?
I would venture to say that they look for a DT, a little defensive tackle action.
Do you think maybe behind door number 2, door number 1 is Roma Dunze? Hindsight here, right? We're drafting week 1's over with 19 targets to Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, and half of them are caught. You think maybe behind door number 2, this Liatu Latu guy might be all right, or this Byron Murphy guy might be all right?
This is going to be so anti-fantasy, and I'm sorry, everybody, because Roma Dunze was obviously going to, linking him up with Caleb was sick. But Daddy Moore is still in town. Obviously, Keenan Allen ain't going anywhere. Byron Murphy being picked at 9 would have made this probably second best defense in the league behind the Niners. Would have been unbelievable. The pressure that they could have brought from within, from the middle, would have been insane with Sweat and Byron Murphy. They would have been that much better in the run game. Or, they could have went tackle, even if they had gone offensive line there.
They needed that too.
They could have used that. If they would have gone trenches or even pass rush, Liatu Latu or Latua, as our guy Lombardi says, Latua. That would have made this team better for sure. It would have probably been the smart move if you were Ryan Poles, but I mean, come on. Rome sitting there at 9 was too tantalizing.
Fair play. All right, you got one more?
I do. We can make it a quick one. This Thursday night football, Dolphins v. Bills, AFC East showdown, will be the Jaylen Wright breakout game. Buy or sell?
Mostert and Achane did not practice today. Wright was inactive. I'm buying. It's that easy.
It is that easy. If one of them is out, especially Achane, and I will say this is bro science. If you know Kiwoom, you know that I'm not afraid to tiptoe in the bro sciences, the delicate bro sciences. Look at the third preseason game in the usage of Jaylen Wright. 4 catches, 40 yards. Look how they used him. It wasn't just dump offs. It was design plays to the outside. It was Texas routes. It was moving him around the field as a pass catcher. And then look at what they did with Devon Achane in week 1. Clearly, Mike McDaniel is chefing up, getting his running backs touches via the pass. It's clear. They were practicing it with Wright in week 3 of the preseason. They executed it with Achane in week 1 of the NFL season. if A-Chain is out, they will insert Jaylen Wright. And against a team like the Bills, talk about a Jordan Mason type game for Jaylen Wright.
That would be a little hot. That would be a little spicy. All right, we'll go for 5 minutes. We'll answer some waiver questions. I see a couple in the chat, but I got one more. I got a bonus.
Ooh,
I got a bonus because you mentioned Jordan Mason. I just typed this thing up so fast you couldn't freaking touch it, man. I just typed this thing up so fast when you said Jordan Mason. Final buy or sell. People need to stop being scared pussies regarding going all in on Jordan Mason this week for Fab, because McCaffrey won't be fully healthy and back to normal until week 9, 10, or 11, or maybe even later, because guess what? If we're doing our 2025 fantasy draft, I'm not sure he's a top 6 pick.
I'm buying. The fact that we've now learned that Mason was made pervy to the fact that he was going to be the starting running back on Friday.
Also, fuck San Francisco media. Fuck their media.
Oh yeah, well of course they're not a real. They fuck them because they don't understand the irreparable damage that they did to the fantasy community by not giving us that heads up.
No. I'm talking about them questioning Mason and making him look like an asshole.
Oh no, I don't. That is totally separate. I'm talking about the fantasy end of it. But yes, fuck him on both accounts because they did kind of piss him off, and he had every right to kind of lash out like he did after they kind of, definitely blindsided him with those questions. But Adam Schefter was on Monday Night Football, the pregame, talking about he's unlikely to play against the Vikings. Well, if they beat the Vikings, he's probably going to be unlikely to play week 3. And they win again, and then they see the Patriots. Why play him against the Patriots? And all of a sudden we're looking at our calendars, and it's turning to October. We don't have a single fantasy point scored by Christian McCaffrey, where Jordan Mason, he could be the wide receiver 5 on a points per game basis over the next month. We saw him get 147 rushing yards yesterday, 5 runs over 10 yards. He broke 15 miles an hour 8 times. This is a guy with some juice. This is also a situation where Calf is very, very, it's the most precautious doctors will take. Look at Russell Wilson, right? The Russell Wilson was cleared by the team to play. It was up to the doctors to make the call, and they didn't let him play. And he didn't want to play because you can just cause a lot more damage if you're not fully healed. Then the report came out he had Achilles tendonitis. This team needs to win a Super Bowl. They're desperate for a Super Bowl. They don't give a rat's patootie. They don't give a rip about what Christian McCaffrey does from now until Halloween. And if he's not feeling 100%, he pulled himself out of practice on Friday. This could be an ongoing thing. This could end up being a 2, 3, 4 week stint. And in our seasonal drafts, you could put yourself in a clear line for the playoffs, taking advantage of a guy like Jordan Mason. So yeah, I think you're being a complete pussy if you're not ponying up for Jordan Mason, trying to get too cute, because you're going to lose out on a difference maker early.
All right, we got 5 questions. I'm in here. I started 5 questions here. Aloha Panda says, how hard are we selling ETN, boys? ETN split carries with Tank Bigsby. Bigsby averaged 6 yards per carry. I think ETN was like 3.5. ETN did get some receiving work. That game fell apart for Jacksonville. Are you out on ETN? I don't think I am.
No, I'm not even close to being out on ETN. Not at all. I'm not selling. I'm buying, matter of fact. It's not that I'm just not all that worried about him long term. I mean, even look at the analytics of this game. ETN 4 runs, 15 plus miles per hour. Tank Bigsby just 2, and they had the exact same amount of attempts. So ETN still got that juice. He should have scored 2 touchdowns. Huge mistake, but ETN's a more talented back. Tank Bigsby will provide a bit of a breather, but I think that the 12 carries that you saw is a bit of a mirage. It was 90 degrees in South Beach. They had to get these guys breaks. As the season rolls on, I think we see ETN take more and more of that share over and over and take that backfield back and become what we drafted him to be.
He fumbled that touchdown through the back of the end zone, which is like one of the more painful outcomes. You could have had 2 scores in that game. I think there's better days ahead. Zay Collier says, thoughts on CMC's injury? What should we sell for? We talked about his injury already. Selling McCaffrey, though, becomes a bigger question, a bigger situation to behold.
I mean, selling Christian McCaffrey is tricky because you have to find the right dance partner. You have to find someone that's willing to give you the right price, But here's go ahead.
I was going to say, you're kind of at the end of the. Maybe this is just my POV, but like it feels like you're kind of. This is like the apex. Like you saw the apex. You saw it in Carolina, and you were like, "Shit, this might be the end." And then he went to San Francisco, and he's like, "Just kidding." Like, he found the second bump bump, right? Like, is he going to find another bump bump, or is this going to be the like the start where it goes down? And so I think that makes selling McCaffrey even more difficult. And I think this is interesting, the thought process of this, because Trashman brought it up today on the Roster Watch Waiver Wire show that Mark Andrews is at his age apex. He's like, not age apex, but he goes, his outcome apex. He goes, I think we've already seen everything we're going to see out of Andrews. And I go, Andrews just turned 29.
Yeah.
29. He's got a $10 million dead cat drop next year down to like $5 million. They could let him bounce, or they could keep him for 2 years and he can become a free agent, sign somewhere else at 31. And like him and Likely are both free agents. What if Likely goes somewhere else? I'm not sure I'm out. Like, I think Andrews is a sick buy right now. I'm buying Andrews if I can. I got offered a trade today. Somebody put him on the block, and I just wanted to, and this is a maniacally stupid offer, but I did it just to see what would happen because Trashman said this to me. And then like an hour later in a different league, somebody put him on the block, and I literally just go, watch Kate Otten for Mark Andrews.
Shut up.
Terrible. I know I didn't get it. I'm just saying terrible.
My God.
I offered it. I go, check me out. You think he's done? You think he's done? Here, take this 23-year-old. Take him. Let me start in Tampa. Take him. I got declined. But I just thought, I'm just like, I want to play with people. If they're going to fucking get out and quit on guys, like Andrews is the furthest thing from done.
I agree. They ran 52% out of the 12 personnel. That is what they're going to do. They are going to lead the league in 12 personnel. They're going to play it damn near 50% of the time throughout the whole season. And what Isaiah Likely did was show opposing defenses that they can't just bracket Andrews. They have to now account for a guy that has a lot of pep in his step in Isaiah Likely. And over the course of the season, you're going to see Mark Andrews have a bunch of big games. I am a little worried, though, in terms of the spike weeks and the volatility between the two. But at the tight end position, how much of a dumpster fire it was in week one, you'll take anything, any type of reduction. One last thing about selling Christian McCaffrey. Now might be a unique time, like literally within the next couple of days, might be a unique time to sell on a return that even if he comes back, you're not completely depressed, just mildly. And here's why. Because guys like Rachaad White, there's a perception right now that Bucky Irving is better. False. Wrong. Yeah. Hit me with the sounder. Wrong. Jonathan Taylor, 10 points with a touchdown. Value might be a bit depressed right now. Travis Etienne, most people are trying to sell. You could get him. Josh Jacobs. Someone might be trying to sell high on Tony Pollard. Obviously, you're not doing this one for one, but here's where the unique timing of the situation might be beneficial for selling McCaffrey. Look at the wide receiver production in week one. It was so down. Lamb had about 12 points. Chase, 12 points. Justin Jefferson, 14 with a touchdown. Amon-Ra was down. Garrett Wilson had 12 points. Marvin Harrison had 1 point. DJ Moore, Pittman, Neighbors, London, Olave. There are so many receivers that are dealing with a bit of a depressed value heading into week two. If you can move your McCaffrey for Rachaad White and DJ Moore in seasonal leagues, you're starting to cook with a little bit of gas there. So this might be the time that it's going to pain you, but just make sure the return is enough that even if he comes back and is 80% himself, you're not totally porked.
I like it. Gooner Boy says, like the stream, my lad, McConkeys. Please do it. Aloha Panda with another one here. Drop Emmanuel Wilson for Tyler Johnson in a shallow lineup dynasty league. I think I tend to want to keep the running back.
Always. Yeah, I want to keep the running back.
TJ,
You look good, too.
TJ's nice and like super breakout guy, young breakout age guy, but they love Demarcus Robinson, and I think Jay Witt.
Yeah, we're just gonna forget Jay Witt. Like we've been.
Jay Witt didn't get work in week 1, but Jay Witt's better. He's better now. He's a better player. Like,
yeah, he's going into the week now as the guy. I mean, heading into week 1 after the preseason, it was like Jordan Whittington might be the most valuable handcuffed at the wide receiver position, and now a guy goes down. We're just gonna skip him. I don't think so. Panda, I'm keeping Wilson. 445, efficient, probably going to run the football more. Maybe he sees closer to 10 touches as a running back. And in season, running backs are gold. You always want running backs because you can flip them, trade them, you start them. They're the most volatile positions in season. So a guy like Tyler Johnson doesn't provide much long-term or short-term value.
All right, we got to rapid fire through some of these. We got to get done. Augusto Keshishian. Sick name, bro. Rashad White, Ford London for Barkley and Flowers. Give me Barkley and Flowers every day.
Give me Barkley and Flowers. Barkley is now catapulted. He's now my number 4 running back rest of season. And Zay Flowers, don't sleep on the boy. 10 targets. He started off that game on some Antonio Brown shit. There's some good days to come.
I was about to say, can I get a young AB?
Real quick grade, putting you on the spot here. Made a trade in a league. I sent Mahomes in my round 1. I got JD, Jaden Daniels, Jared Goff for insurance, Zay Flowers at 2 and 3. 1 QB league.
That's heavy. I like it. JD, QB2, baby. QB2.
He looks so much like Lamar. It made me so happy.
He didn't even unlock the McLaren, baby. Also,
just McLaren. Just Miss McLaren on like a 6-yard bomb.
I was listening to some guy on the radio. I brought Stephanie home and I was listening to the radio and this guy's like talking to it's old guys talking about the Tyreek Hill situation. He goes, yeah, he's got this sports car, this McLaren, and he was going 60 and a 45. This McLaren is a sports car. It's very fast. He kept calling him McLaurin.
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 All right. Crossed. Yo, would you guys do Jaden Reed, Mixon, and Caleb for Pacheco, Burrow, and Olave?
So I'm assuming this is season. It has to be seasonal.
OBBR. I think either way, I like the Reed side.
Yeah, I think I do too. I'm down on Olave. We talked about him last week, and Burrow ain't right, man. Burrow is not right.
When they said he had to shoot baskets to warm up, I was like, yeah.
Did you see him trying to pick up his water bottle?
I'm worried about him.
You ever get a stinger at the gym when you're doing, you're lifting, you get a little stinger and you just can't grip for like 20 minutes?
Yeah.
He looked like that when he was grabbing his water bottle. It did not look good.
This is the number one thing, Matty, and this is going to be depressing to even talk about here, but when we see something go from a quarterback specifically, and I was talking to Steph about this because she's going to be a surgeon.
Yep.
Actually, she is a surgeon. And her hands are her most important thing, right? So I go, you're not allowed to open pickle jars. You're not allowed to cut vegetables. You're not allowed to fucking touch the grill. You're not allowed to touch doors. Like you're talking about money right here, right? Quarterbacks are the same thing. Quarterbacks, if the nerves go, you're done. If your elbow go, you're done. If your shoulder go, you're done. And what have we seen from Deshaun Watson? The gas ain't in the tank anymore.
Yep.
The shoulder went, the gas ain't in the tank. Burrow, they said during training camp that he didn't look like he had quite the same zip. Did it go? I mean, Russ lost it. You get these shoulder injuries, these hand injuries, these elbow injuries. It goes.
Mm-hmm.
It's maddening. It's wild, but it goes. And that's like, you look at Tom Brady. He didn't have the strongest arm ever, but it never went. It never
He
went.
didn't have any devastating shoulder injuries. He would have like sore shoulders, but he never had any devastating season-ending, surgery-requiring shoulder, wrist, arm surgeries.
And why did he last 20 years? He didn't have any of those big injuries, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like Favre had, goddamn, was it a collarbone or a shoulder? I want to say he had something like that. Late.
And Breeze had that shoulder injury that he bounced back from. It's not impossible.
But more so the moral of the story is like that's part of his game. Deshaun Watson and Burrow are two guys that could really take advantage downfield. And Watson's is so I think Watson's there mentally. I think he's got great rapport. I think the team loves him. I think all the Twitter stuff is bullshit.
Really?
But he just doesn't have the deep ball. I like Deshaun. I think Deshaun's just fine. He just doesn't have his deep ball. He doesn't have he just doesn't have quite the connection that he once had. I think he's a fine his offensive line's fucking trash, but I think he's fine in the middle range, in the middle area, but he didn't have the deep ball anymore. And if Burrow doesn't have the deep ball anymore, it just changes them. And then when I say I like Watson, I'm not saying I like him like him. It's more so like I just think he's a fine quarterback. Like he drops down below like the Baker conversation, right? Like,
yeah, which is
like Sam Darnold. Like he's a competent quarterback, but he's not anything special. Anyway, next question here. Franz, do you want Andrews or Ingram rest of season?
I think rest of season right now, Andrews at 4, Ingram at 5. So it's damn close. But if I had to split hairs, let me split it in the favor of Mark Andrews.
Where's Likely at?
I got him at 10.
Woo! Okay. Aloha Panda. Thanks for the help, boys. Curious if you would sell Etienne or Olave full PPR dynasty.
I wouldn't. I'm nervous about Olave. They put up 47 points. He had 2 catches for 11 yards.
That game was out of the pocket right away, though.
Well, right, but I need to see it.
One more week.
You got to see one more week. Let me see one more week. But if I'll say this, Panda, if you have depth at running back and you can move Etienne pretty seamlessly and you need that receiver, it feels like fair value.
All right. George, take us home, baby. Right here. Take us home, George. Hey, guys, should I use my number 1 waiver priority to pick up Bucky Irving? If so, should I drop Trey motherfucking Benson or Blake, Will Smith? Where we at? Corum.
No, I'm not doing that. They're all in the same boat. One guy just got more touches in a game where their offense kicked the living shit out of the other team. Corum, he's still an injury away. That's kind of what we all thought going into the year. And same could be said for Trey Benson. If James Conner goes down, Trey Benson is unbelievable. If Kyron Williams goes down, Blake Corum is awesome. If Rachaad White goes down, Bucky Irving's probably solid and probably becomes actually, I'll say this. If Bucky Irving becomes RB1 because of an injury to Rachaad White, those Bucky Irving rosters are going to hate themselves some what's the other running back's name?
Sean Tucker?
Sean Tucker. Sean Tucker must die to those people.
That's the show, baby. I kept Matty Kiwoom for 50 fucking minutes. A couple minutes too long. Appreciate you guys. We love you. We'll be back next Tuesday, 8:30, 8:15, 8 o'clock, whatever it is. Stay tuned in. Stay locked in. Click that like button. Click subscribe. Turn the notifications on at Matty Kiwoom, at Cody Carpentier. We'll be back next Tuesday. We'll see you. Peace.